Okay, welcome to this Edexcel GCE Paper 4A A-level tutorial. This is Buddhism, and today we're looking at the mark scheme. Now this is, be warned, the A2 mark scheme, not the AS mark scheme. If you're sitting this paper in year 12, you'll need to look up the year 12 AS mark scheme. It's not as rigorous, it's not as demanding, nevertheless it is different, so you'll need to prepare for it slightly differently. So, this this sample mark scheme includes material from across both year 12 and year 13 topics. You will need to be aware of that, just in case some of this looks pretty difficult. It is, but you're not doing it till year 13, so that's okay. So we'll dive in. I realize if you just joined the course from GCSE, wow, this will be a bit of a dive in the deep end, but do your best. Here we go. There are 3 sections, and you have 120 minutes, 2 hours to complete those 3 sections. In total, there are 80 marks, so it's about 2 minutes or just less a mark. So let's have a look at this. The first section has 2 questions, an 8 mark and a 12 mark question. Here's a sample question. Explore the stages of becoming an Aryant in Theravada Buddhism. That's a year 13 topic material. And question 2, assess the view that Vipassana is the most effective form of meditation. A piece of year 12 topic material. And it actually gives you the number of pages you'll have to fill in. So we've got a target. So we've got a third, 2/3 to 3/4 of a page of lined paper for the first. So 10 to 15 minute task. And then the second question, 1 3/4 pages, and so we're looking at a 15 to 25 minute task. Section B then, really it gets a bit more challenging. Let's scroll on down to section B. Section B is what we call our anthology work. We have, over the 2 years, 4 chapters from 4 books you'll have to have read, and maybe know a little bit more, not just about the individual chapter, but the authors and the context of the writing. One of them, this one, is actually a sutta, or an actual text from a classical text, and its interpreter is Thanissaro Bhikkhu. Okay, he's interpreted this classical text for us to, and it's all about, and if you read it there, it's all about warriors and how a warrior will be treated in the process of samsara, birth, death, and rebirth, and will he go to hell or not, or at least the Buddhist version of hell, because of being a warrior. We'll come back to that in a bit. So you have to clarify the ideas in this passage, just as I've begun to do there, in particular with reference to the idea of ahimsa, this old Jain idea that the Buddha picked up. And you've got about 1 3/4 pages to do that. Again, 15-20 minutes for that, maybe 15 minutes for that first task. It's a 10 mark task. Now, the second task with that passage is analyze the difficulties a Buddhist may face with putting ahimsa into practice. So, what does that mean? It's 20 marks, so that's 30 minutes to write, 30, 35, maybe 40 minutes, 2.5 pages, roughly, of lined paper. What are the difficulties? Well, you have to think, we'll go through some of the indicative content you might put in that section. Section 3 then is the big mark singular question, and it's the hard synoptic skill. This synoptic skill you'll pick up over the next couple of years, pulling stuff out of your other studies and then using it in your religious studies unit. Now, in particular, either from ethics or from religion, you haven't done New Testament studies, so you can't use that. But there will be things that you can pick up from your topics in philosophy of religion or ethics that are relevant. And you're going to be discussing an idea as it comes through a couple of writers. Throughout the course, we'll be picking up the ideas of some key writers, in this case, Arthur Basham, who's this guy who writes about India and the context of Buddhism and general ideas about Buddhism, and this insider Buddhist philosopher theologian called Walpola Rahula. So, on to the mark scheme. Right, this is a bit scary, but we'll have a go. I'll have a go. Here we go, the mark scheme. So it starts easy. Question number 1. Remember that question? What was it again? I don't. I've just forgotten. Explore the stage of becoming an Arihant in Theravada Buddhism. Now we have some indicative content. I'm showing the cursor here of the stages of becoming an Arihant in Buddhism. I'm not going to read this all out. You can read it there if you stop the video. And it's just a knowledge and understanding question. And if you've got, guess what, lots of knowledge and understanding, you get a level 3 response. Notice the trigger words: a wide range of knowledge, a broad range of key ideas, a comprehensively developed set of ideas. Okay, can you give, using language, knowledge and understanding about a particular thing? That's the first assessment criteria. Question 1. Question 2. Remember question 2? I don't. I've just forgot, so let's go back. Explain the view that Vipassana is the most effective form of meditation. Right. Now we're on to the debate type question. You've done these before. Is the only, what other types are there, and is it the best type? Well, the indicative material includes both knowledge and understanding that it is what Vipassana is, and alternatives. This alternative samatha, is it a better form or not than this insight meditation? We'll get to this later in the year, don't worry. What are the strengths and weaknesses of each type of meditation? That's what you have to weigh up here. Samatha versus Vipassana. And we'll have done some strengths and weaknesses in class, don't worry. So you have AO1 and AO2 possible responses out of 12 this time. So you're going to get some points for AO1, but you're going to get much more points for AO2. Notice the difference here is 4 marks up here, 4 marks for AO1. So if you just know what Vipassana is and Samsana, not so much. But if you can evaluate, if you can compare and contrast, you get an extra 8 marks for that. Strengths and weaknesses of each. And I'm sure you'll manage to figure out how to do that. So notice the trigger words. AO1 and AO2 trigger words. A wide range of knowledge, AO1 trigger word. And look, AO2 trigger words. Critically deconstruct religious information. Construct coherently reasoned judgments. Well, you've been doing that for GCSE. It's not that difficult. On then to the biggest questions, question 3 and question 4. So back to question 3. What was it again? It was the passage about the warrior from the sutta, and we had to clarify, we had to analyze. Okay, so clarify it with reference to the idea of ahimsa and the difficulties, and apply it. This is an application. Analyze and apply it to the difficulties Buddhists would have today. So let's go down to 3A and 3B. Here we go. 3A, we have our typical AO1 knowledge. Remember, this question, AO3A, is just out of 10 this time. Not 8, not 12, but 10. So what's that, 15 to 20 minutes? It's just tell us what you know about this sutra, and in particular, the key teaching here of ahimsa. Okay, you can read the content here, the indicative content, problems of breaking ahimsa, modern examples of problems with soldiers and butchers and so on. But 10 marks for AO1. I'm pretty sure you can learn lots of this sort of stuff. Fairly straightforward to learn that Buddhists shouldn't be soldiers and butchers and so on. The B part question, and look, there's the AO1 knowledge, not a problem. The B part question, a bit more tricky. You still got some AO1 marks, 5, but you got 15 AO2 marks. So ahimsa, again, Metta is another idea that we'd expect you to have known here, which is the idea of compassion and loving kindness in Buddhism, and Himsa being the principle of non-violence. AO2 is a bit more difficult. You got to develop your skills showing analytical and evaluative responses. Now, the problems of the practicalities of diet, being a vegetarian. We know this is difficult. We all like a bit of meat. The problem is meat means killing things. We don't want to do that. Okay, and all of the rest of this, yeah. Being a soldier, that's not part of the Eightfold Path. It's bad karma. The Buddha forbid in at least some forms of Buddhism, any of the ordained monks and nuns becoming soldiers. But it's not impossible for a Buddhist to be a soldier. Why? Well, because you have to defend other people. But in general, you shouldn't be involved in all kinds of nasty stuff. So that sort of evaluation, let's look all the way down at the B. This is a 20-mark question. It's a wide range of knowledge. So you're going to get some points for AO1 again, but most marks, remember it's 5 marks for AO1, 15 marks is for your critical analysis and evaluation. What are the problems? What are the issues? Can you make connections between modern world and Buddhist teaching? Can you make reasoned judgments? So, on to the last question, which will be a total of 30 marks. What was the question? Let's find it again. Section C. You get 3.5 pages. Wow. 30 marks. So remember, question 3A and 3B were 30 marks total. Well, there's also 30 marks for this last section. And this is our synoptic work, trying to make connections between ideas, the ideas of scholars, from different aspects of the course. This is the hard one, really. Anthology is pretty hard, but this is also pretty hard. Synoptic skills. We've always done it in RE. This isn't anything new. So can we connect? Here is our mark scheme. So only 5 marks AO1. You'll learn some stuff. You'll be able to make some connections, but 25 marks. Look at this. For AO2. Wow, we'll have to work hard on our analysis, our evaluation, but we'll have to work even harder at AO2. So, of course, you need to know who Basam is, some of his arguments, Rahula. But AO2, some evaluation of Rahama and Basam and Rahula. And look at some of the typical material here. Now, there's quite a lot here, but this is what you would need to know, not anything else. Well, that's important to realize. What's on the page here there's not much extra. So you can do quite a bit of that, up to 30 marks. Wide range of knowledge, critically deconstructing the information. This is AO2 now, making connections from one bit of the course to another, coherent judgments, reasoned judgments fully supported by comprehensive appraisal of the evidence, convincing conclusions provided which fully and logically draw together the ideas in a fully justified argument. So a stonking good essay you need to produce to get your 30 marks. They're not giving these away for free. A-level's hard. You've got to work at it. So this has been our overview of the mark scheme. It's kind of shocking. It looks like a lot of hard work. Welcome to A-levels. There are no easy A-levels now. But we'll work at it. We can get our knowledge and understanding together. We can practice our skills. That'll give us our evaluation. And we'll work at it together. Thanks for listening. Tune in again for the next video.